Hi, Wonder Class, and welcome to our Monday, the 18th of January 2021 English lesson. So let's find out what we're going to be learning about today. The learning objective for today is, can I edit my work and make it better? Well, I am almost certain that you all are capable of editing your work and making it better. This is something that we did speak about in last week's lesson on Friday in the response video. If you've watched it, I spoke about making sure you're writing and you're following your writing toolkit, you're proofreading your work, and you're checking your spelling. So what you're going to need for today's lesson is to have a look at the instructions that you completed on Friday. So I think you had Thursday and Friday to complete your own set of instructions for escaping the house. You're going to have that out and ready because that's going to be what you're working on today. So let's just have a look at some ideas of what we should follow when editing our work. So this is called the editing station. So suggest ways to improve a sentence, change different word classes. Remember that not all sentences need jazzing up. So when we're editing our work, we often have to do things which are really important. So if I make this a little bit bigger and read it to everybody, we have something that's a top tip, which is called proofreading. I often refer to proofreading in all of our lessons, and it's to read through your work and decide where one idea ends and the other one begins. It also is just a way of checking your work, checking it makes sense and the sentence has fluency and it flows. Reading aloud is really important. When you read something aloud, you seem to understand it a lot more than if you read it internally, so inside and quietly. So that's really another important way of making sure that you're checking your work. Make sure you have separated your writing into sentences. Which punctuation will you use at the end of each sentence? So you might need a full stop or a question mark or an exclamation mark. It says here at the bottom, a full stop is the most common way to end a sentence. Question marks. Remember, you still need to use end of sentence punctuation after the ellipsis, so after you've used your question mark. And exclamation marks are not used that often, and you only really ever use one of those. So there's just some things to think about when we are editing our work. 4 things most likely to edit in this piece of work is your nouns, so the person, place, or thing. Verb, so the doing word or the action word. An adjective describing the noun, and an adverb, how the action is being done. So these are the 4 things which I think you might go back and edit because of our instructions. So not all writing does need editing, and sometimes you might use a thesaurus. And this is something that we did introduce in Year 4 in the beginning of September. You might remember, so it might take a minute, have a think, what do we use a thesaurus for? Good, so just changing one word can be really useful to enhancing and making your sentence even better and much clearer and more exciting. So sometimes what we might do is use a thesaurus to find the word that we've already written down and see if we can find an alternative or a different word to use instead. So that's another way of editing our work, by using that to help us. So let's have a look at the sentence, walk to the door. Whilst this sentence is good, we can improve it. Creep silently to the front door. So instead of just saying walk to the door, it's a much more interesting and exciting sentence to read if it says creep silently to the front door. Why do you think it is a better sentence for the reader? Well, of course, like I've just said, it's more exciting and it makes the reader more drawn in and want to read that. So what you're going to do for today's lesson is have a look through your own written work. Look for capital letters at the start of the sentences and proper nouns, commas after your fronted adverbials or time conjunctions, full stops to finish your sentence, question marks for exclamation marks where they're needed, numbers for the steps and bullet points for the list. All of the things which we did do and go through last week. Oh, one more thing which I can't see on there is actually subheadings. Subheadings also need to be included in your writing. So what you can do is have a look here for some adverbials. So this is something I'm going to say to you to try and do on your own, because your writing is actually different to the writing that's now on the screen. So go through your work and have a look for adverbs, phrases that tell the reader when, where, how, why, and how often. Have a look for prepositional phrases. So these are things such as under, above, between, below, They're words which show movement and where things are positioned. That's also really important. And finally, from your editing station, have a look for your spellings that don't look right. Have a look if you wasn't sure how to spell a word and you did just write it down because you guessed it. Now go back and really see if you can find out how you spelt that wrong. You might need to use a dictionary, you might use a Google dictionary. It's really up to you how you find that. But see if you can find any of your spelling mistakes and see how you can change them to make them correct. So here are your 3 tasks for today's lesson. Complete the editing that has just been modelled to you. So go through those steps that need to be ensured to make your writing really clear. Task number 2 is to read through your writing and make sure you have included some technical vocabulary, so some really interesting adjectives and adverbs. And number 3, rewrite your final innovative paragraph out neatly with all the corrections and exciting vocabulary. So those are your 3 activities for today. I hope you enjoy your lesson. Take your time and remember it's personal to you, so enjoy the writing. Don't see it just as I have to do my work and it's an activity and it's a task that needs to be done. Actually embrace it, enjoy it. Take on all your ideas of how you would escape your house and really go through them, see how you can make it better, see if you can change some things, and just enjoy what you're doing. That's all from me today. I will see you in the next lesson. Bye everyone.